Dear children, welcome to the online classes of biology. So children, in the previous classes, we were studying about various plant tissues. And I told already that plant tissues can be divided into two types. What are they? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Right? What are meristematic tissues? The tissues which are able to divide continuously, which are having the capacity to divide, are known as what? Meristematic tissues. And when the tissues lose their capacity to divide, they get specialized to perform different functions. What is that process called? It is called differentiation, isn't it? So, after differentiation, the cells lose their capacity to divide and they become permanent, isn't it? They'll become permanent tissues. So, we were studying the different kinds of permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, again, they are divided into simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. What are simple permanent tissues? Simple permanent tissues are those which are having only one type of cells, isn't it? And can you give example of simple permanent tissues? Yes, we have already studied parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, isn't it? Then, if it is asked to compare the different simple permanent tissues, what all points comes to your mind? Parenchyma, isn't it? They are thin-walled cells, okay, and they are having cellulosic cell wall, isn't it? And they are living cells. And when parenchyma, they store they are used for storing food materials. They form the structural part of the plants, and when they do photosynthesis, they are known as chlorenchyma. And when they are having air spaces, especially in aquatic plants, where what happens, that gives ability to the plants to float on the surface of water, then it is known as parenchyma. The parenchyma with air spaces are known as what? Parenchyma. Then what are collenchyma? Collenchyma are living tissues as well as mechanical tissues. What do you mean by living tissues? They are having what? Cytoplasm, and they are living. Okay, and at the same time they are giving mechanical support. The plants are able to bend without what? Breaking, is because of the presence of what? Collenchyma. And the speciality of collenchyma is they are having pectin deposition only in the corners, isn't it? And I told, on the other hand, sclerenchyma are cells which are having lignin deposition, isn't it? Lignin deposition in their cell wall uniformly. Understood? So here uniformly in sclerenchyma you can see the deposition of lignin uniformly. But in collenchyma, how it is? It is only in the corners. Okay, the thickening, the extracellular thickening is found only in the corners. Okay, and in sclerenchyma it is seen uniformly. Okay, in all the sides of the cells. Is it clear? So, sclerenchyma is a dead tissue also. It's a dead tissue. Understood? So, about simple permanent tissues, you understood? What are the different types of simple? Why they are known as simple permanent tissues? Because they are made up of single type of cells. Single cell, not what you will write? Single type of cells. All the, see, tissues means group of cells only, isn't it? So, if all the cells in the tissue are same, then we call it as what? Simple permanent tissues. Understood? Now, we learned also about the tissue systems, isn't it? If you see a plant like this, okay, if a stem, if you see, it will have a cuticle, epidermis, then you can see a cortex, okay, which can have collenchyma and parenchyma, okay. See, this is the cortex, this part is the cortex, okay. And then you can see the endodermis layer, okay. Then you can see the what the pith here, okay. Is it clear? So in plants you can see what various systems. See, if it is a stem, you can see here, this is a stem, and you can see here epidermis, and this region is cortex, this is pith, okay. And you can see this is a vascular bundle where the phloem and the xylem are arranged, and in between what you are seeing is cambium. Okay, so in detail you will study later in higher classes only. And you see, this is the way how the tissues are arranged in a plant, okay. Cuticle, epidermis, then what, cortex can be collenchymatous and parenchymatous, okay. Then you can see the vascular bundle, inside that xylem and phloem are arranged, okay. So like here the pith is mainly made up of parenchymatous cells. Like this you can see various tissue systems. So when you see the epidermal tissue system, okay, epidermis is made up of single layer of cells in many of the plants. It's only in those plants which are have xerophytic adaptations, you can see them in many layers. Understood? Then there are certain pores, especially in the leaves. These pores are known as what? The stomata. Okay, and they are guarded by guard cells. Okay, guard cells are there which cover this stomata, okay. These guard cells are kidney shaped and they help in the opening and closing of stomata. Clear? So these are the what things what we learned till now. Here, now we have to study about, okay, it is already studied, this is only revision, okay. And the complex permanent tissues. Why we call it as complex permanent tissues? Because they are made up of more than two types of cells. Okay, more than one type of cells. There are four different cells actually in xylem and phloem. So xylem and phloem are considered as what? The complex permanent tissues. So what are the components of phloem? Phloem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, okay, and xylem fibers. Understood? So these are the cells found in xylem. Okay, so what are they? They are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Clear? So as there are four different types of cells, they are examples of complex permanent tissue, okay. Tracheids and vessels, they are having thick walls, and they are dead cells actually. Even xylem fibers, okay, xylem fibers, tracheids, vessels, etc. are what? The dead cells. So what is the function of this? This help in the transport of water and minerals vertically from roots to the leaf. Okay, and parenchyma, they stores the food. Okay, and xylem fiber, they are not taking part in conduction, but they are supportive tissues. Okay, supporting in function, give mechanical strength. Okay, so among xylem, which is the living tissue? Xylem parenchyma. Okay, and what they do? They store the food. And what is the function of xylem fibers and xylem vessels and tracheids? They are helpful in the transport of water and minerals. And xylem fibers, they help in the supportive function. Clear? Now phloem is made up of cells like sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells. Okay? Phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. Okay? Then sieve tubes are tubular cells and they are having perforations. Perforations means holes. Okay, what is the function of phloem? They help to transport food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Understood? So this is the function of what? Phloem. Phloem helps in the transport of food. In this, you can see that except phloem fibers, other phloem cells are living. Understood? So which is the dead tissue among phloem? Phloem fibers. What are fibers? They are actually kind of what only? Sclerenchymatous tissues only. We have already studied, isn't it? Sclerenchymatous tissues actually they are of two types. Okay, they are the fibers and stone cells. Understood? So fibers means elongated type of cells, and the sclerenchyma associated with xylem and phloem are known as xylem fibers and phloem fibers. Is it clear? So what are the differences between xylem and phloem? Xylem and phloem, the xylem's function is to conduct water and minerals upward, and phloem's function is conduction of food, isn't it? Then what you can say, the xylem's conduction is in the upward direction and phloem conducts the food materials in all the direction, isn't it? Then in xylem most of the tissues are dead, but in phloem most of the cells are living cells are there. Understood? So these are the difference between xylem and phloem. Okay, so you have to go through the textbook thoroughly for your MCQ questions. Okay, so be thoroughly prepared. Very few topics are there, so you please try to utilize that and learn it very nicely. Okay, thank you very much.